scrimmaged at all the drills, and he said there was no excuse today then if you had heavy legs. Do you have any comment on that?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, it's just tough sometimes. 3-on-3, you can be exposed pretty easily if you make a bad play, so wasn't great on my end there.
Maggie, what's the chemistry like with that fourth line right now? You and Emma really seem, and Julia really seem to be clicking.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we try to make an impact where we can, and I think what's fun about playing with them is we really try to bring a lot of energy, whether that's just like through the forecheck or shutting plays down. I think, you know, we just always talk about making the simple play and bringing in as much energy as we can.
How do you guys think overall that you wrapped up the season? Obviously, you're in the playoffs, and that's a good thing, but obviously you've kind of had mixed results after the international break. How do you guys feel you are heading into this playoff run?
I think we have all the right reasons to be confident in our group. I mean, this league is so tight every single night. It's low-scoring games. It comes down to one or two plays. And we just talked to the locker room. Gina said to finish second in a league like this is pretty incredible, and that's something we can build off of. I think we've been building our game all season long. I truly don't think we've hit our peak, and there's no better time to do it than now. So I think the group is confident. We're going to refocus after this game and be excited to have home ice advantage heading into the playoffs.
You guys have been... Oh, no, you go ahead. You guys have been really strong on the power play, obviously, this year, but you guys have kind of struggled at times to get that offensive stride on 5-on-5. What do you guys think you have to do going into the playoffs when it's the hardest to score 5-on-5?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like even today, we talked about maybe getting some more pucks on net, funneling pucks towards the net, getting bodies there. We got to own the net front. It's hard to score in playoffs. It's going to be a lot of dirty goals. That's how you score. So it's just going to be owning the net front, and we have a lot of big bodies and people who can compete in battle. So we just have to get there, get pucks there, and work at it.
What are some of the lessons you can take away from your experience in last year's playoffs into this year's playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's something where everyone knows that they just have to raise their game. It's always the hardest time of the year, but I also think it's the most fun time. So I think everyone's going to come hard. It's going to be more physical. It's going to be definitely a fun time of year. So I think just learning from last year, right, is definitely not how we wanted it to go. But I think you just take certain things that we learn and use it to our advantage this year.
Do you guys think that, I know there's a lot of talk last year about who you guys were going to pick, like you were clear ahead and first, and so there's a lot of lead up to that in that conversation. Do you think it's kind of nice this year that you have no say in that you're just going to go into the playoffs, who your faces, who you're going to face, and you can just focus on your preparation?
I mean, we want to finish first. There's no doubt about it. You can look at it two ways, that choosing your opponent gives them a little extra competitive edge, but at the end of the day, you got to beat whoever you choose, whoever you're playing. So, we wanted to finish first, but now whoever we end up playing, we've learned a lot from the players who were here last year on how the playoff momentum works, and we'll be prepared for whoever our opponent is.
Do you have any quick word about, there was that big trade, and especially we just had Joss in here under very different circumstances than I think last time. So she makes the playoffs with her new team. Just any thoughts about her?
Yeah, I mean, happy for her. She's obviously an incredible person, incredible teammate. We loved playing with her. She's the type of player that you want on your team just for her leadership and her compete level every single night. So there's no doubt she brought a lot to that locker room in Ottawa, and she's a good friend of mine, and happy to see her have some success.
Kind of touched on this already, but Maggie, what does it feel going into this playoffs compared to last year? How is it different?
I mean, I think you take some things from last year for sure, but at the end of the day, it's a new team, it's a new season. We turned the page from last year, so you take the experience of having played in playoff hockey in this league, but besides that, there's a lot of things different about this year. It's a whole different team, so kind of taking it, I guess, in a different outlook this year for sure.
What are your thoughts on your final regular season game?
Good first period. Second period was ugly. I thought we juggled some lines, just playing around with some things in the third period. I liked the energy they brought in the third. And just, the OT was what it was.
Were the defensive juggling, was that intentional, or was that just happenstance?
We wanted to get a few shifts with Carter with Fast, just to see what that would look like. I mean, Carter's sort of a a steady, predictable kind of player, and just seeing what it would look at like potentially in the playoffs if you're reducing it or cutting it back to 5. What's it look like with Carter and Renata? So yeah, just playing around.
You know, one of the storylines for the season has been your power play, but on the other side of that, you know, you guys have struggled at times to find offense 5-on-5. What are you looking for to change heading into this playoff run in terms of 5-on-5 offense?
Yeah, we definitely got to improve in that area. A bit of a juggle between entry type offense and ozone play, and getting pucks in behind the D and possession, getting possession. But right now we're not. And I don't think, honestly, I think a lot of teams in the league suffer from the same things. You can score with your sheer skill and your natural ability. But in this, I find the league is getting tighter and tighter, and if you don't kind of get your back to the goalie and take away the goalie's eyes, or making some east to west plays and releasing pucks without overhandling them, if you don't do these things, you're not gonna get the numbers offensively that you would want to get. So I think we just got to understand that offense, may look a little bit different in this league as things get tightened up, and then and it's going to get worse in the playoffs. So you got to be prepared to get pucks in behind the D. You got to, space a little bit better in the ozone, but you got to get to the crease. You got to get, one person at one post, another person at another post. You got to be difficult to play against, and you got to hang in there and win battles in dangerous areas if you want to produce offensively. And I think we have some players that are trying to become a little bit more offensive, but they're just not there yet. But it's a constant work.
Troy, at the other side of the rink, Ottawa had chunks of the game where they were pressuring your group a lot, and you can tell that they're desperate because they're trying to score goals. How do you feel that your group handled some of the waves of attacks that Ottawa was giving them, and how do you feel about your team's defensive play in their own end as you get into the playoffs?
A lot of the waves are generally, I don't know I think Ottawa obviously played with a little bit more emotion, obviously with their backs against the wall. But I think the one thing that I notice a lot of times when there's extended offensive shifts against us, it's usually a fail to clear a puck or a rebound that's landed in the slot that we don't push to the wall. It's usually something that we've done, not in the D zone early. So if you're passive early in a D zone, you probably should expect to be there for 35, 40 seconds. So I think a lot of it, if you look back at some of those clips that we were hemmed in, it was generally because of a mistake we made, gave them a little bit of opportunity. And what teams, good teams just thrive off that, right? Like, if the D zone is ended early, obviously great. But if not, like the offensive team just gets momentum, and they're optimistic and positive about it. So we just got to limit those mistakes, getting pucks out when we need to. Not every breakout is going to end up in an ozone play. So understanding the importance of just getting a puck into the neutral zone sometimes is just as good as getting that offensive zone shift. So we just got to manage the puck and manage our decisions a little better.
What do you think is a little bit different about this year compared to last year entering the playoffs for your team?
A couple things. One is I don't think we had to grind as much this year. So I think we have another level to give at this playoffs. Last year, I felt we had to grind just to survive the year and to get out of the kind of the funk that we put ourselves in early in the year. This year was just a little bit more balanced. We found ways to win a few games throughout the season that, set us up for, position we're in right now. So I think that's going to help us. I think we got enough people that have played in the league last year as well that know that to be successful in the playoffs, you got to take it up a notch. And then, I know that the typical storyline now is going to be, the learnings from last year, obviously, and being up in that series. And, the message I just said to our players now is that if you feel that's motivation for you, then use it. But I don't think it's something that you need to put on players or staff members that weren't even here last year. So if you feel you can use it for positive motivation, all the best to you. but I don't think we're going to wear it as a team. Just doesn't make sense. There's a lot of people that have played on other teams, so they have nothing to do with whatever went on last year. So sometimes just talking about it is the best learning.
Do you think there will be a different feel going to this playoffs? Because obviously last year we made a big deal of, you guys are picking your opponent this year. Someone's going to pick your opponent for you. Does that change the feel going to this playoffs, knowing that you won't be making that decision this year?
Yeah, it does. I mean, but having said that, I would have loved to, be sitting up tonight and having a beer and talking about who we're going to pick. Like, I think, it's a unique rule that the PWHL has put forth, and I think it's, there's a privilege and there's an honor there, right? Like that you get to select that opponent. Whether we made the right choice or wrong choice last year, I still would rather be in a position to pick the team than have someone pick it for you. So, obviously hats off to Montreal for putting themselves in a situation where they can either set their team up for success or they can, hand it to us.